Ladies and gentlemen, our shout out to our regulators, our regulars, and if you are new to the channel, welcome. Today I have finally managed to get my grubby little hands on one of the infamous, well, not infamous, we've seen them pop up from time to time, shell ejecting laser toy blasters. So we have seen the occasional picture pop up on the gel groups over the past year or so, coming from Chinese guys that can get these through sellers, on Taobao, which none of the stores at this point have brought in. So I normally do the super duper high end stuff, and these are more so on the cheaper side. So I've just been waiting for another store to bring them in so I could have a look at one, because I actually think they are very interesting. So I've got another cool one to show you guys as well, but this was the main one we wanted to look at because I know we've seen a few pics of these guys pop up. So I wanted to show you guys how they actually function. This one's a little bit special. It's a little bit different to the traditional manual style, which this one is, which just works off 2 springs. So when you pull the trigger, you are pushing against this guy here. It reaches its break point, and then this bar is going to fling back, which is what pushes our slide back, which then pushes against this weaker spring to pull him back. It's a really, really simple mechanism. I really like it. Is that on? No gas, no batteries, just works. Now that's our first type. So this is the OG complete manual dual spring blowback type. This little guy here is an electric assisted shell ejecting laser blaster. Now this one is basically an AEP, but with a completely different function. The gearbox, all the gearbox does is push this back. The gearbox isn't worried about the piston at all. It does have a piston, but that piston is only there to generate enough force to push the button on the laser, which I think is really, really cool with how it works. So I wanted to show you, and being electric, it's obviously a little bit quicker cycle than the manual. But I want to show you, so yeah, we've had a look at how this guy works. I want to show you how this guy works, which requires a little bit of disassembly. So I'm going to tell you straight up, you can see I've tried to put a barrel in it. They can't shoot gels. They are not designed for it. They are designed for ejecting shells, which they do very well. Oh, now they're gone. I'll have to find them later, I think. Woo. So the way this guy works... Whoop, wrong one. The way this guy works is it does use a gearbox, a very AP-ish gearbox, but it serves no purpose in racking our piston at all. All it's doing is, well, it does as a secondary function, and the thing I don't like about this is that you do have to cut off. You do have to unscrew this front piece to access your battery, which I only don't like for having to unplug it, because I don't want to leave a device plugged in. This thing is super duper simple. I did have the correct screw piece for you, so there we go. I'm not going to fully disassemble him. I just want to show you guys how the mechanism on it actually works, so we get a decent comparison between the electric assisted and the completely manual. And then we can shoot them. Okay. Screw this little guy. I do think the Maxim is a very, very weird looking pistol. But I do understand the concept of the whole internally built suppressor type deal. So looking at that, you can actually see it's got some really nice little bearings there. They actually look really decent quality. For a little AEP box, I don't know if it's metal or plastic gears inside, but I'm gonna opt on the side of, I think it probably has metal gears in there. So hold him there and pull. Whoop, there we go. So that piston was cocked back. Okay. So the way it works is you've actually got two little bars that come out of the back of this, which I'm going to show you them working by plugging it in. So we have a, it's actually easy to see them if I remove this little guy. And if no, I'm not doing the full disassembly. I just I found this interesting, so I thought maybe you guys would want to see it. I'm using a little bit of a, pull him out. And this little guy won't come out unless I pull the barrel out. Which, you know what? I'm going to leave that out because there's no point putting it in there anyway. I should be able to just lift this little guy out. There we go. So you can see our surprised that still works with that stripped little wire. Ah, come here. Ah, now I'm pushing the button. Okay. So, the way it works is that those little bars there push our housing, blowback bit back, which then latches this little guy onto the piston, which then when this returns forward, wow, piston is stuck back here. I just feel that this technology or this design idea further down the track is going to be super duper really, really good. I'm going to try and sit him in there without letting it get wedged by this guy when I put him in. Oh, wrong way. Alright. Yeah, so this actually has to sit out. Now, before we can get him in. But I have to make sure our cables are not in the way. That's why I had to unscrew it. But I also wanted to show you our little jiggies. Can we get those guys in? Okay. Make sure he's still good. Okay. Can put our pin back through. No, wrong way. Sealy. Was that the correct one? No. I'm just silly. Well. Okay. That little guy. I don't know if that was that way or this way. That was this way. Fairly certain. Oh. Oopsie doopsie. Go in. Yes. Make sure everything is all shooting. Well, if I can fit that battery in. Yeah, I'm very much not a fan of having to screw and unscrew the entire device to get access to the battery. It's a bit of a turn off for me. Although it does feel very nice. It's a some sort of nylon. Okay, we should screw him back on. means I've got to screw you in heaps further. Okay. So we've got an RMR plate for a sight. We have a really annoying front end, and our back end can go back on now. Yeah. We got a jam.
You just got jammed.
The back. Okay. Now they're everywhere. Now you do get plastic shells with each of these. With this guy, they get messed up pretty quick. So definitely only want to be using the metal shells. Now back to this guy. Look, hands down, this is my favorite. So I think these have a really, I think they have a good spot on the wall as a functional training device. You get and that is really weighty. So they've obviously packed it with chunks of metal as well to give you a realistic weight. But for on the cheaper side, so I think these retail for about 150 AUD for a cheaper functional training aid that you can put a laser in, that you can get a feel for different systems and models and practice your manual of arms with. These are awesome. So to me, that's a plastic slide, by the way. It's a really thick plastic lower. So this one's nylon. This is heavy as shit. This just feels like a stock TM to me. But stock TM doesn't do this. They are not at all a functional field gun, but what they can do is, and you've also got, it's a lot harder to display on camera. It has a really heavy trigger pull. So when you're trying to stay on sight, it is very much forcing you to correct your own micro movements just to actually aim and shoot, which you see with the laser targets in any of the little videos we've seen where it takes them a couple of shots to zone in on the actual teeny tiny target, which I think is really nifty if you wanted to buy a bunch of those targets, put them around the house and do some drills. Absolutely, totally viable option for that. And I'm going to have to clean up shells everywhere now, which is another awesome thing about them, I think. Yeah, so I finally actually got to have a little bit of a play. The electric one, so there is still another type, which I may get to play with at some point, which is the evolution of the 3DG, which is the new actual AEPs. Non-shell ejecting, they're just a straight AEP gel blaster. From my quick look at those, they actually look like a really nice little system. The gear set in them looks really decent quality for a little cast gear set. yeah, just they look like very well fabricated little gears. But my thoughts are, if given the choice, I think I would opt for something like this. I think this is so much more practical, and I don't have the laser. But with the laser and the targeting system, this is such a no gas, no battery. It's just such a practical system, especially if you don't want to fork out the money on the nicer, higher end GBB stuff. Yeah, well, that's my thoughts. I'll leave you to it. Future Danny here, because recording Danny doesn't remember to do anything. Please, if you got anything useful out of this video, like and subscribe. It super duper helps with the spreading the content, getting the view counter up. But yeah, thanks guys.